It started as a simple chat interface. The demo worked. Stakeholders were impressed. The assistant answered correctly, most of the time. Then production happened. Logic drifted. Edge cases multiplied. Results changed after harmless prompt updates. No one could explain why. If your enterprise system puts business logic inside chat, you've already surrendered determinism. And in regulated, Microsoft-based enterprise environments, that's not a small mistake. It's architectural failure. In this video, you'll learn why chat is the worst place to put business logic, and how professional .NET systems separate conversation from execution to remain testable, auditable, and reliable in production. We'll examine how prompt-driven systems quietly replace architecture, and how to prevent that before trust erodes. Part 1. Why chat feels powerful, but is architecturally misleading. Chat feels powerful because it compresses complexity into conversation. A user types intent, the system responds with action. It feels intelligent. But chat is not architecture. It is presentation. The danger begins when teams confuse conversational success with system correctness. In demos, chat hides structure. In production, structure is everything. Business logic requires determinism. Chat is probabilistic. Business logic requires testability. Chat responses drift. Business logic requires auditability. Chat obscures decision paths. The more logic you embed in prompts, the less control you retain. What feels flexible early becomes fragile later. Chat excels at interaction. It is a poor foundation for execution. Part 2. How prompt-based logic quietly replaces real systems. The failure pattern is subtle. A team adds instructions to a prompt, then conditionals, then special cases, then exception handling. Eventually, the prompt becomes the system. At that point, simple enterprise questions become unanswerable. What version of logic ran? Who approved the rule change? Where is it documented? Can we unit test it? Prompt logic cannot be versioned like compiled code. It cannot be unit tested deterministically. It cannot be reviewed with the same rigor as domain services. In Microsoft enterprise environments, where DevOps pipelines, code reviews, and change approvals exist, embedding logic in prompts bypasses governance entirely. Changes feel harmless until production behavior shifts, and no pull request explains why. This is not an AI problem. It is an architectural one. Part 3. Why chat-driven logic destroys observability and governance. Enterprise environments require traceability. Who made the decision? Which data was used? What rule was applied? What changed since last deployment? Chat cannot reliably answer those questions. Conversation history is not an audit trail. Prompt tokens are not version control. Model reasoning is not deterministic replay. In .NET production systems, you rely on structured logging, application insights or equivalent monitoring, correlation IDs, service level traceability. When logic lives in prompts, those observability layers cannot see it. During incidents, teams need deterministic replay. Chat cannot replay reasoning consistently. For regulated industries and government entities, that alone disqualifies prompt-based business logic. Governance collapses when conversation replaces structure. Part 4. Why business logic belongs in deterministic services. Business logic belongs in deterministic services. In professional .NET systems, this is foundational. Services enforce rules. Domain models enforce invariance. Workflows enforce sequence. Authorization layers enforce permissions. Logs enforce accountability. Chat should call those services, never replace them. This separation protects you from model variability, prompt drift, unintended side effects, governance gaps. The same request produces the same outcome. Failures are localized. Behavior is explainable. AI becomes an assistant, not a decision engine. This is how systems remain operable for years, not weeks. Part 5. How chat should be used correctly in enterprise systems. Chat is extremely valuable when used correctly. It should operate as a translation layer. It translates human intent into structured API calls. It translates structured results into understandable language. Nothing more. When chat stays in that boundary, users become more effective, training time decreases, cognitive load drops, adoption increases, and the architecture remains intact. In Microsoft Enterprise environments, this pattern integrates cleanly with existing .NET services, identity infrastructure, DevOps pipelines, logging frameworks, monitoring systems. Chat enhances the interface, not the core. That distinction preserves trust. Part 6. Why this mistake keeps happening despite experience. Teams don't make this mistake because they're careless. They make it because chat demos hide complexity. Early success feels like validation. Warnings feel theoretical. Deadlines compress design decisions. Prompt logic grows quietly, one sprint at a time. By the time inconsistencies appear, business logic is already scattered across conversation flows. Reversing that architecture is expensive. Experienced architects resist embedding logic in chat because they've seen this cycle before, in scripting engines, workflow tools, and low-code platforms. Conversation is seductive. Structure is disciplined. Enterprise systems require discipline. Part 7. How to recognize and correct the problem early. You can detect the problem early if behavior changes without code changes, prompts grow longer every sprint, debugging requires try it again, logs don't explain decisions, confidence in outputs declines. The solution is not better prompts. The solution is architecture. Pull logic back into services. Reinstate deterministic execution paths. Use chat as an interface, not an engine. When conversation stops owning decisions, trust returns. That is how enterprise AI systems stabilize. Chat is powerful, but it is the worst place to put business logic. When organizations separate conversation from execution, AI systems become reliable instead of fragile. In enterprise.NET environments, especially those operating under compliance and governance constraints, that separation is not optional. If this architectural perspective aligns with how you build production systems, you'll find more execution-focused guidance across my work. Thanks for watching.